It's Monday, the 4th of August, 2025, and live on West Coast Radio, Peter Gomez with another edition of Coffee Time. And with us this morning is the Deputy Speaker of the Gambia's National Assembly, Parliament if you like. He's also the Deputy Spokesperson of the National People's Party. So, a lot of politics to talk about this morning, but of course, development as well. Alhaji Seedy Njie, welcome to Coffee Time. You tell me that, I need to correct myself. It's not necessarily, in fact, the first time you've been on Coffee Time, maybe first time coming to this building.
Yes, first time to this building.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you, Uncle Peter, and good morning to listeners. Hello, everyone.
I thought you would be here in grey or ash color.
Oh.
And you are in blue. Has Hamad Ba now taken you over from NPP?
Well, what a coincidence. I'm almost in white daily.
Okay.
But today, I'm in blue.
Very good. Tell us who Seedy Njie is. A lot of people say he's one of the most misunderstood politicians, public figures in the Gambia.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Peter. As of course, you know me very well. I am Seedy Njie from Chairman Njie, and of course, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Have been in Parliament since 2007, of course, nominated by former President twice, and now also nominated by the current President and serving as Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly.
Fantastic. And how did you come into politics, Seedy?
It was a coincidence. I just found myself in Parliament in 2007 after completing high school.
How do you mean just found yourself in Parliament? What activities were you engaged in?
I was engaged in student and youth activism. Of course, I was at some point head of the senior and junior secondary school student body throughout the country. And at the time, we had a very close collaboration with government. And of course, we worked hand in glove in the advancement of students across the length and breadth of the country. And that's where some people identified me, and of course, the former president identified my potentials. And people thought and believed at the time that I could be of good asset, probably one may put it, to the country. And having served as activists, students and youth, so it was not a coincidence to send me into Parliament as a youth representative and as well as member of the National Assembly in 2007. And from then, I tried my best to be equal to the task and contribute my quota to national development, to the advancement of socio-economic development of the country and of Parliament and of national duty. So I was also renominated again in 2012 by the then President into Parliament, being the first person to be nominated twice by the former President. And here also now, in a different capacity, still nominated member of the National Assembly by His Excellency President Adama Barrow, and of course tapped me as a Deputy Speaker role, which I am serving to the best of my ability.
And of course, maybe you'll be nominated a second time by him again, provided he wins in 2026. We'll come to that later on. So what activities were you engaged in as a high school student that, led to you being identified by the President?
As a high school student and head of the entire country's student body, we are engaged in promotion and promoting the welfare of school children across the length and breadth of the country, looking at probably issues such as scholarships, such as oneness, togetherness, such as going around the length and breadth of the country, preaching students about patriotism, about nationalism, about cohesion, about the maintenance of peace and stability, about the importance of partnering with government for the advancement of especially underprivileged, the downtrodden, and also securing scholarship for those underprivileged school children. It's involved a lot of things. At times also, of course, students may want to engage in some schemacies, and government would engage you. You will be the conduit between government and the students, and we were able to ensure that we played our role at the time, having witnessed the deadly April 2011 school students riot and protest that led to the killing of some students by security forces. So we wanted to do our best to make sure such thing does not reoccur anymore in this country. At the time when we were leading the student body, we were always at dialogue and engage security forces, engage government, and engage the students in helping to keep the peace, because peace and stability is the business of each and every Gambian, irrespective of your age, of your background, of where you come from, because violence knows no background, no tribe, or no region. So that's what we were doing, and we were able to keep that. And in addition also to fighting for the cause of students, we at the time also we are the conduit between the students and the senior and upper basic junior secondary schools, so conference of principals of various schools. So we at the time we were very influential, very committed to studentism, very committed to national duty, and people thought that we will also be very effective in serving our country with a different capacity and a different level.
The events of 2000 obviously, had an impact on your activism. Did you always, have this at the back of your mind when you negotiated with security officials? And why did you have to negotiate with security officials? Was there any point during your tenure that students wanted to protest again?
It's always good to negotiate, and at the time, of course, at some point, most of the time, students would want to come out. Maybe genuine, maybe...
Okay, you don't want to call it demonstration, just to come out.
Yeah, maybe genuine, maybe interpreted differently, but President Adam Barrow used to say, and he still keeps repeating that.
By the way, we're talking about a period before President Adam Barrow.
He said all conflicts, including World War I and World War II, ended dialogue table. So before you start a war,
every conflict ends in peace.
Or before you start a conflict, every conflict ends in peace. Yes. And to end the conflict, you must be around the table to dialogue. Mm-hmm. So why not you start with dialogue first before going in for confrontation? So at the time when students want to come out, there are a lot of issues surrounding certain schools. Sometimes not necessarily the student body, but in a particular school, for instance, they talked about veil, or they talked about certain things. You remember those?
St. Teresa's.
Yes, or sometimes also students want to say that our teachers are not giving us the required lessons we needed. Or they will say teachers' salary has been late, or school closing, or examination malpractices. So they want to capitalize, because at the time, we never wanted anyone to use our student body, to use our school children for their own whatever interest they may have that may, at the end of the day, affect us, the school-going children. Because if there is a conflict, it's the school-going children who will probably the greater share of the negativity, because there will not be a school if there is no peace. There will not be enough classes or lectures. You will lose the contact hours, from morning to evening. And when you count that by weekly, so it's affecting your quality of education, and it affects, at the end of the day, your results. So we were committed. In essence, we were the government of senior and upper basic schools, and also we had a very cordial relationship with our partners, that is the GAMSU and Knox at the time, and we remember there was this reconciliation between...
And yours was NAPSA, right?
Yes, we were NAPSA, and later on to GAMSU, to Knox National Union of Gambian Students, and we jointly organized event together.
Okay. So you got, nominated first time, then you got nominated a second time, and during this second tenure in the National Assembly was when we had the elections in 2016, and Adama Barrow won, of course. Your candidate lost, but he didn't want to leave.
Yes.
And then you played a key role in interim period.
Yes,
leading to the transition.
Yes, I remember we discussed that extensively with you here. Yes, that happened in 2016, 2017, and we never wanted to. We considered at the time. Later on, we changed our decision and wanted to go to court. And eventually, we all know what happened, and up to this day today.
Okay. And Seedy Njie played a lead role. I'm sure you're seeing, videos being rehashed and recirculated. And every time Seedy is involved in some high-profile thing, people who don't like Seedy would re-release those things. And,
indeed, and it is.
It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to explain yourself.
No, we did that here.
Yes. So, well, that was years ago. You always have new ones.
No, that was last year.
Who consume the false information.
Exactly.
What drove Seedy at the time to say some of the things he said? For instance, like over my dead body.
No. We were serving as a political party, and we believe in a party at the time, and we were advancing for the interest of our party, and which we thought at the time was the interest of the country.
Okay. So for you, loyalty is paramount. You were loyal to
It's very important. Whatever one is doing, you must be loyal and committed to your duty. It defines the individual. We in all spheres, in all connotations, one must be loyal. We must frown at disloyalty and double standard.
And at what point did you realize that, well, yes, I am loyal, but after all, I'm trying to defend the indefensible?
No, human beings, and once you continue to live, you'll continue to learn and progress. And whatever happened in the past, the essence of being a very positive individual is to reflect on your past and, of course, on the present and look forward to the future. Wall of Njie was so hamon dudon jitu ni kon richu te do am. So growing up from being a toddler to a school, primary school boy, to a secondary school, high school, university, and to work, of course, your first years of work experience, and as you move on to many years. So all those stages have different lessons that you will learn, and you will, of course, do your best to get the positive out of it, and of course see the positive and the negative and move forward. So whatever happened, even yesterday or the day before yesterday, we've learned from the negative thing, and if we have wronged individuals or our family members or state or whosoever, we unreservedly apologize and we move on.
Okay. And do you think, learning from your mistakes has made you a better person, a better politician?
It
matter?
always makes a person a better person. And I urge and call on every individual to reflect on our past, learn from our mistakes, and look forward to a more positive, more engagement, and more fruitful future. Okay. And of course, the present as well.
Of course. So, former President Njie, of course, eventually had to leave the country. You left with him.
Oh, Uncle Peter, we had discussed that with you enough. You said we are going to discuss about NPP, about government, about politics.
We will get there.
Yeah, please, let's get there.
We will get to a transition.
Please, let's get there, Uncle Peter.
We'll get to a transition.
Uncle Peter, please, let's get there. I've given that enough to you here, you remember. Let's get there, please.
Yeah, we always have new
there is no new in that. Now, what's new is the politics, governance, current happenings, as you told me. That's what we're going to discuss.
Okay. So you came back after leaving with the former president, and then you linked up with Barrow.
Now I'm the deputy speaker. I'm the deputy spokesman of the National People's Party. We campaigned vigorously 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. We got a decisive victory, an emphatic victory, overwhelming absolute majority.
Let's just go back to the beginnings of the NPP. You were there. All right.
Yes,
What role did you play in the formation of the NPP?
You know, at the time we had what we call the NPP Council. When we came, of course, we had the Borough Youth for National Development in 2018, and it was launched at Bubazon, and I made a statement that very day in 2018. So we were using it to propel the development agenda and ideas and ideologies of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, and his desire to transform this country, of course, to what we are witnessing today. So we moved on from the Borough Youth for National Development. We have a lot of people who have worked tirelessly in ensuring that we galvanize support, canvass for vote, mobilize people across the length and breadth of the country, both men, young, old, and women. And of course, we transitioned to Borough Fans Club, which was more or less a political wing of the Borough Youth for National Development. And of course, what later on turned out to be the National People's Party. We had, of course, a national executive, what we call the Political Council at the time. So later on we formed the Political Council and steering the affairs of the politics of the Borough Youth for National Development and the Fans Club. Then when His Excellency the President conceived the idea of forming a new political party, of course, which later turned out to be the National People's Party, then it moved into the National People's Party's executive, the Political Council, to now the interim NPP executive until Congress.
Okay. And when did you sever all ties with APRC? Because when you just came...
That was in, I think, late 2017.
Oh, 2017?
Yeah, I think 2017.
Ah,
I think,
okay.
Yes.
Because, I mean, the impression was, I mean, you were still, Fabakary Tombong Jatta's, right-hand man. And everybody just assumed that, yeah, you were still, helping APRC.
No, I left, I think, 2017. Because I remembered the inauguration or the launch of the Borough Youth for National Development. I was present and I made a statement.
That you...
Yeah, I was... No, at the time I was already... I had left APRC at the time, since. I think I left late 2017.
Okay.
It might be early 2018, but I think late 2017.
But already Barrow had started meeting APRC secretively, as we hear was happening while.
When I left, when I decided that to join President Barrow and conceived the idea of getting the APRC to meet His Excellency the President to cool down and to give peace a chance, so that to probably minimize the antagonism between the President camp and the APRC in the best interest of the country, as strategic national interest. And His Excellency, of course, received the Right Honorable Speaker, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, and we started discussing the way forward in the maintenance of peace, law, and order in the spirit of political reconciliation. Yes.
So initially it was just to cool down, to use your own words, not to form an alliance.
We started discussing, and then as His Excellency informed us that when I went with the Right Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta to meet with him to discuss ways of working together in the interest of moving the country forward, especially in the area of peace and security and political reconciliation.
So can you understand when UDP says that, this was when Barrow started the betrayal process?
That's not correct. That's wrong. It's a non-event. It's false. His Excellency the President was a member of the United Democratic Party and, of course, contested and won. They were very proud, and he was very proud to be
one as a coalition, not as
Yeah, I mean, he was a member of the United Democratic Party. No,
yes.
Of course he contested as a coalition and independent candidate, but a product of the United Democratic Party,
sure.
And a proud one for that matter. And after winning the elections, he, of course, continued to identify himself as a good product of the United Democratic Party, calling to their party leader as his political godfather and giving them all the opportunity, all the honor and respect he deserved. And he continued to serve. And at some point, those who were probably unable to peep in the window or eavesdrop weren't aware of what was actually happening inside. But if you have anyone who's close to eavesdroppers, you may notice that there was a ploy to probably push him off this chair and get someone to take over. So it continues, but that was never the...
So the eavesdropping was on, a scheme by the UDP to undermine him?
No, what I mean by this, if you were not opportune to be an eavesdropper to what is happening at number 1 Marina Parade, or you were not close to those people, you may not know what was happening between His Excellency the President and UDP at the time.
And what was happening?
But later on we realized there was a ploy to get him out of the bus and replace with their party leader, of course, so that he doesn't contest the next elections. And there are also political pundits who suggested that if they were probably to be in the shoes of the ANM Usainu Dabo and the UDP, they will own their own product and, of course, transition from independent to a UDP presidential candidate in the name of President Barrow in 2021, which, of course, never happened. And there are a lot of talks, when there was this fans club and subsequently the formation of the National People's Party, we went in for 2026 campaign, and Gambian decided to choose between progress, development, peace, stability, tolerance, democracy, patience, and then to the opposite, hoped and, of course.
Yeah, but people blame Barrow. He asked for leadership, or rather the flag bearer position at a time when the UDP had not held its Congress, and reportedly he was told to wait for the next Congress. But apparently he was in a hurry to get it, when he wanted it.
Maybe those who blame Barrow, they have not been fair to him and to the Gambian people. A member of a political party can at any point in time seek for the leadership of his or her political party. That's the internal democracy. That's the fundamental rights of members and supporters of each political party has, especially an individual who rose to the highest position on earth, that is being the President of the Republic. Naturally...
That's the highest position on earth? It's not Donald Trump's...
That's the highest position on earth, to be a president.
Oh, okay.
To be a president is the highest position on earth. And naturally, what could have been done was every other individual who had an opportunity or who conceived the idea of at some point being the leader or the flag bearer of the United Democratic Party, they have been looking for the opportunity of winning elections for over 2 decades. And one of our product, our son, luckily and by destiny, want the coveted position. We should have all relinquished or retire our ambition and allow him to lead the party and, of course, give us the opportunity of being the president, and then go in formally to the elections on the ticket of our party. If I were the party leader, remember I granted a lot of interview at the time. I said if I was A&M Dabo, I would not have even accepted the position of vice president. I will sit in my house and tell, you know what, President Barrow, you are my son. And I will get my entire party members to say, go and support our party, and then I will be advising behind the scene to help and steer the affairs of the nation. So if you want to blame President Barrow, who is elected as a president and in his first term, and want to return back to his party and lead the party, in fact, he should have been commended for not betraying the party. Because in other areas, in other jurisdictions, when you win elections, what you do is you don't even want to do anything with your political party. You claim that you are elected in as an independent, which of course is the truth. But because the president never wanted to betray people, he thought he owed them a moral obligation. They were together, and he thought it was imperative on him, it behoves on him to go back to his political party and seek the position of the leadership of the party, so that his party, what they were looking for over 20 years or so, he will continue along those trajectory with the sole objective. Remember, they talked about ANC at the time. You know, when President Barrow came into power, when he released A&M Dabo and others, when they met, A&M Dabo told him, you are Moses. Then he said, you are Nelson Mandela, sir. So then that's where this Nelson Mandela and Moses came, and people started to give the UDP name of ANC, and they conceived the idea of staying in power for long. So the president conceived the idea and wanted to lead the UDP and then from there to get another one to succeed him under the ticket of UDP. So that doesn't happen, and you cannot blame the president. That was a good intention, a good gesture of him. He has not betrayed. He went back to his party, and whether he sought for the leadership or not, we are not aware. We don't know. We were not members of the UDP. But if he does, it was a great thing for him.
Mm-hmm. So, according to you, Usainu Dabo, once Barrow had become president, should have just retired from politics and urged his party to support Barrow, so that he just relaxes to know that, well, he has finally guided UDP to power.
Exactly. That would have been the best bet. If he had done that, there would not have been any differences between him and the current president, and of course there wouldn't have been camp for pro Barrow, pro A&M Dabo.
All right.
Because once I'm elected the president, the highest opportunity, position, and honor I can give to an individual is vice president, and the president made him vice president.
It's Monday, the 4th of August, 2025. It's Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on YouTube, courtesy of Njie Oil and Wave. On radio, we also have the likes of TAF Africa, Global Auto Care, EcoBank, Trust Bank, JFIN, and, of course, Global Properties. Let's talk about NPP and UDP. People say they are 6 and 9. You have reminded us that Barrow came from UDP, and a lot of people say, well, he's formed NPP with the same ideology as UDP. Is it correct to brand NPP and UDP 6 and 9?
That is false. It's millions miles away in planet Pluto from being the...
What differentiates the NPP
from the UDP?
Between
the UDP and the National People's Party. For us at National People's Party, we believe in social democracy. We believe in rule of law. We believe in tolerance. We believe in patience. We believe in inclusivity. We believe in propagating absolute socio-economic development of the country. We choose peace, hope, democracy, good governance, development, as opposed to intimidation, ridicule, violence, tribalism, and you call it. At President Barrow and the National People's Party, you know that And our biggest and greatest preoccupation is to nurture and embolden the democracy that we have. You know, at the National People's Party, we believe that this country is a responsibility as citizens, as members of the National People's Party, to make a difference. We recognize the fact that at the time President Barrow and of course NPP was born, we had a lot of aspirations and the country had a lot of deficiencies in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of building and nurturing democracy, in terms of building and nurturing institutions, strengthening and building strong institutions, and of course in terms of moving away from tribal rhetorics to actually all inclusivity, getting development and getting each and every individual part of government and contribute your quota, irrespective of our tribe, our religion, our culture, and our region. So it is, in fact, a crime to state that UDP and NPP are 6 and 9. And we believe that today Gambia is better off with the National People's Party. You know, Gambians choose President Barrow for the right reason. Gambians have seen what the National People's Party's programs are. We sold it to the people, and it looked palatable and pleasant, and they bought it in excess. And the social contract we had with them in 2021 to date, we have been doing our utmost best to be equal to it. Of course, you know, we all here in the country, we know the happenings around the length and breadth of the Gambia in terms of nurturing democracy, people's liberty, the fundamental rights of the people. But additionally, the National People's Party and President Barrow believe that there cannot be meaningful socio-economic development without infrastructure. That is why the President said his priority 1 is infrastructure.
And I want to talk
priority number 2 is infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Priority number 3 is infrastructure. Priority number 4 is infrastructure. On the premise that there cannot be absolute development in the health sector without building our health infrastructure, getting the required basic equipment to be able to address the growing demand of ill health and ailments.
And I'll tell you what
there cannot be development. You cannot have a reliable, accessible, affordable, and quality education in the absence of infrastructure. You cannot build the mindset to improve the welfare and well-being of the Gambian people, to improve and build on socio-economic well-being of each and every citizen, whether the private, the farmer, the hawker, the teacher, the carpenter, the nurse, or the pilot, or the soldier, or the police, if you don't give them road infrastructure to be able to improve the GDP, the economic status of the country. Once you build a road to Bolibana, to a village in Sambatako, or a village in Kermot Ali, or Kerma Alima, or Ker Wolof, or Ker Uncle Peter,
well,
they will be proud.
You know that stretch from Jangjang, that runs behind our house.
Our house.
You know how. When will you get that sorted?
Well, with President Adama Barrow, everything is possible in terms of roads infrastructure. So once you put in a road infrastructure in those villages, now their citizens in urban centers or wherever they may be, they will conceive the ideas of building shops, of building carpentry workshops, of building welding workshops. So themselves, you are directly impacting on their daily income and economies. So therefore, you cannot also have investors. You cannot have a piece of mind. You cannot even sleep if there is no infrastructure for energy, for the government to supply reliable, accessible, and affordable energy to everybody. I tell you a story. Njie, since the creation of Gambia, we never had one by one macadamized road. Never in the history of the Gambia since creation. Since creation, we never had a single pole of electricity. The colonial government, the PPP government, the APRC government, never. When you go to Njie today, the president has divided the constituency into two and built a stretch, first-class road, macadamized road. He has given electricity to every hamlet and village in Njie.
So every home has electricity?
Yeah, we have only 9 villages or 9 hamlets that are not yet electrified. But you know, the president said by end 2026, even if you're in a mountain or under the ocean, the depth of the sea, you'll have electricity.
I thought 2025, or is that now 2026?
Yeah, you know, infrastructure, of course, is going on now. For instance, like Njie, almost every village, you know, electricity pole or lines has passed in those villages. So it's just a matter of expanding. So when you go to Njie, you saw electricity poles or street lights hovering over thatch roof. Obviously. Is that not development?
It is, yes.
That is unbelievable.
Infrastructure everywhere.
Yes.
But you know what, opponents of the president say, and not just UDP, other, politicians also say. I mean, the focus on infrastructure is because this is where the most corruption of this government, and this government has been labeled the most corrupt in the history of this country. This is where the most corruption is taking place.
That cannot be established. That's false. You know, we recognize the fact that Gambians are enjoying liberty, democracy, and of course due process and rule of law. But we want to urge all of us to speak with facts. You cannot just sit down and label or assert that corruption is taking place on road infrastructure or infrastructure without substantiating those claims. That's false. You know,
when they say you overprice, the cost of 1 kilometer stretch of road.
Do they have any evidence?
By saying that it costs $5 million when others say it's just over one.
Do they have evidence? The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, and of course the National Road Authority has been very transparent when it comes to documentations, advertisement and awarding of contracts for constructions of roads or any other infrastructure is for public knowledge. And they have made statements as per cost of each road or each kilometer is there for people to go and verify. You know, we cannot just because we are in a democracy, which will continue to nurture, and you just take your microphone or you go behind or under your bed and use the Facebook and accuse people of corruption without substantiating it. As a government, we are committed to fighting corruption. We are committed to doing so with due process. What the difference we have with people is that there are people calling us to be ruthless, to be oppressive, to arresting people and jailing them without due process. We are not going to do that. We will continue to uphold. There was an audit report, for instance, and when there is the audit gave an opinion, and it comes to Parliament, and the National Assembly will come up with resolutions clearly defining and stating how we want things to happen. And those resolutions, in most of those cases, because once there's audit query, it's not a condemnation to prison. It's a query, it's an opinion they've formed, and the Parliament will look at those opinions and to look at the management letters, look at all the documents against the receipts, and then maybe that would be auditing the auditor's reports. And Parliament also will form an opinion and send it to the Chief Executive Officer of the country with recommendation for police investigations. And as we speak, in respect to those audit queries, whatever, and then Parliament will also recommend for the Inspector General of Police to investigate. And then from there, for them to be forwarded to the Ministry of Justice for legal opinion. So if, for instance, if anyone is accused of wrongdoing by the auditors and opinions, it cannot just, because of that, we send it to mile 2. It has to go through due process. And that is being done at the time, at this hour. So therefore, you cannot just, because we have not seen an audit opinion stating that the National Roads Authority or the Ministry of Works overpriced in the awarding of contracts or roads. That has never happened. Okay. So therefore, because in fact, it has never been an audit query or an audit opinion, you cannot just sit down and say there's massive corruption, because the president is giving the Gambian people what they want. He's giving them road construction. He's giving them infrastructural development. Now you cannot appreciate government in those drive, and you believe because of that the Gambian people will continue to elect the National People's Party and the president, and you want to come up with these flimsy excuses.
Oh, okay.
I want them to go to Hakalang, or to go to Nyanija, or them to go to Salum, or Sabak Sanjal, or for them to go to Wulli, or to go to the Fuladus, and tell them that your roads should not be constructed because during the election, they will beat them to death.
They will?
They will beat, of course.
Okay.
So we must move away from politics of deception.
I support move.
Politics of intimidation, politics of false accusation, to politics of positivity.
Okay. To
embrace the president and the National People's Party's aggressive infrastructural development for our people.
All right.
And of course, we talked about that, but on education, there are a lot of untold story. Now that the Minister of Higher Education is doing extremely well, look at the transformation of our higher institutions of learning, building first-class infrastructure, awarding hundreds of scholarships by government to students annually. These are unheard for. Okay. And that is the priority of the National People's Party.
We're talking to the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Alhaji Seedy S.K. Njie. I just call him Seedy because he grew up before my very eyes. He's also the Deputy Speaker of the National People's Party, the ruling party. You trumpet the democratic values of the NPP and President Adama Barrow. But a lot of people will look at what happened with, the 2020 draft constitution and the 2024 offering, especially what the 2024 sought to achieve on his behalf. And they say, well, this man is becoming increasingly undemocratic. He is becoming actually a despot, if you like, because he wants all powers, for himself. How do you respond to that?
Uncle Peter, that's ignorant. There is no provision in the 2024 draft that seek to entrench the president or that seek to promote dictatorship and that seek to promote authoritarian.
Well, they're saying, certain provisions seek to take power away from the National Assembly,
that is false.
From the judiciary, and concentrate everything,
Uncle Peter,
in the presidency.
Uncle Peter, that's false. There is not a single provision. You see, it is very unfortunate that people, those peddling those misinformation, if you ask them, they have not read a single provision in the draft. We agree there is no constitution that will, of course, get the total 100% consensus of each citizen. We agree. But I can assure you, I can safely state that let them come up with a single clause that seeks to entrench dictatorial or despot, as you put it in this country. It's wrong. In fact, President Barrow is not such a leader who want to amass power and misuse or abuse them. For instance, the current 1997 Constitution is the one that's the supreme law of the country. And the president, and it was here before, since 1996. Have you ever seen or heard action of President Barrow that are against rule of law or due process? Have you ever done such, Uncle Peter? Never. Nobody will tell you that. And there is not a single word in the 2024 draft. You see, the problem is 2020 draft came to Parliament and it died.
Killed by who?
Due process by the United Democratic Party at the time. They were the majority in Parliament. There was no NPP. NPP was non-existent at the time. People are peddling false information.
Which is?
which is that the NPP killed the 2020 draft. That's false. That's not correct.
No, they pin it on the president.
No, that's false. That's not correct, Uncle Peter. You see, Uncle Peter, in 2017, 2018 to 2022, UDP had absolute majority in parliament.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Now they had absolute majority in parliament. They could have changed all the laws that they are now crying for today. The only law they changed was the age limit. The age limit. That's
and why did they change the age limit?
Yeah, to allow ANMW to contest. You know, Uncle Peter, we are very unfortunate sometimes as a country. Because you see, grown-up people, grown-up men and women will only choose to mislead the people. We are politicians. You cannot say that politics is about lying also. That's false. That's not correct. When they came in, they could have changed because they said the former government amended the constitution by 50 times. What stopped them from changing those 50 clauses and amending them again and bring them back to the constitution? What's stopping them at the time? Looking forward in ensuring that the elections bill passed. What stopped them from enacting piece of legislation that will enhance our democracy, that will enhance our electoral, that will reform our electoral process and processes? You remember, in 2017 to 2021, before 2017, they came out, they said they need electoral reform. They said the Public Order Act is undemocratic, it's unconstitutional. They enjoyed absolute majority from 2017 to 2022. They could have even amended the Public Order Act and also the electoral reform. But you know what? They were actually using the Public Order Act, which they called at the time undemocratic, and they wanted to change it, and they were using it. They cannot fool us, Uncle Peter. These are facts, are scientific evidence. Book no lie. This is the truth.
Book no lie.
You know, Uncle Peter, all the piece of legislation that they are crying for today, they could have changed them when they were in government. But they believe that those laws at the time should not have been changed. The only priority they said Gambia have, with all the howling, bowling, hoofing and boofing they were doing when they came into power, the only law they told Gambian is the most important legal instrument to amend, to legislate, is the cap on age limit to contest president. Now, can they preach the NPP? Should they preach government that we are not committed to legal reform? We are not committed to putting of legislations that will enhance the service delivery of government? No, they are never. That's false. That's hypocrisy, munafiq. And it's haram in Islam and in haram in Christianity to play hypocritical.
Okay. So Barrow is not seeking to be a dictator, a despot, or any of that at all?
The entire world, even toddlers, the 2-year, 3-year, if you ask such question to them and you insinuate that Barrow is trying to be despot, the toddler will say, you are lying.
Well, go to the opposition and they will say, yes, he is.
Yes. You remember, the opposition are crying for legal reform. They were in absolute majority in parliament.
You just said that. Let's move on.
They have never done that. So whatever they are saying is to hook win the people, to fool the people. But harama wax la lolu du leka, ken du leka naxate wax lo xamne amut. Can you imagine opposition di wax ne yoon duñ ko leka, courant duñ ko leka?
Why yoon ken du ko leka, courant ken du ko leka?
Yeah, because they are saying ne waru ñoo jot the people of Ñaanijar roads, waru ñoo jot the people of Hakalang roads, waru leen jox infrastructure roads. They think lolu naxate bobu nonu, let them go and meet the people. Okay. In 2026 they'll be defeated woefully.
You spoke about tribalism. Actually, the opposition is saying the NPP and President Barrow per se is fueling tribalism more than any one can be accused of doing, because every now and again
Uncle Peter,
he brings the Sarahules together at State House. Every now and again he brings the Fullers, to State House. Every now and again he brings
Uncle Peter,
he brings.
Uncle Peter, 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 Uncle Pe
So why would he do
Uncle
that?
Peter, the highest double standard and hypocritical. You remember when the UDP issued a statement, they said the president made those Mandinka Muslim Elders Society. It was the same week, in fact, it was 5 days after the United Democratic Party received what they call Fuller Society recognizing their mayor. The highest double standard. But government will never listen to them. They just celebrated, they said the Fullers recognized their mayor. And they also celebrated, they said the Fullers adopted the UDP of honorary father or what. Then the following week they issued that statement. It was joke, it was laughable. In the Gambia, your finger deka fila deka nye fila deka. We know which party is founded on basis of tribalism, and which party is advancing and advocating for tribalism, and which party have gone to villages and towns in the Gambia claiming people came from Guinea-Bissau, came from Senegal, came from Casamas. They should not be accurate voters card. That's the United Democratic Party. They can be best described as a tribalist cult. They cannot do that. We can't say that. Yeah,
but at the same time,
now the president, when you look at President Barrow,
old habits,
his government, his political party, national executive, and cabinet is an all-inclusive cabinet.
Yeah, old habits
all
die
the
hard.
Tribes.
If Barrow learned his politics in this UDP that you say is tribalist, tendencies are he will, go to any new party with these tendencies. That's the accusation.
No. You see, that's about attitude. If the president had the tendency of the United Democratic Party, he would have been the worst dictator in the whole world, worse than Idi Amin.
You're saying he does not have?
He does not. You know, Uncle Peter, yourself, and everybody knows, he does not have. The president, he's an astute human being who respects people's fundamental rights, people's liberties, who act and ensure and assert democracy, rule of law, due process, and good governance. That's why the United Democratic Party themselves saying that, insulting the president every day, insulting everybody, bullying and attacking people, acting in a hooliganism manner. They've never dared to do that in the APRC government. They knew very well President Barrow's attitude and them is like day and night in full Allah Alladu.
So how do you, or what do you make of people associating his comment, was it, a couple of years ago?
75%?
No, we haven't come to that yet. Don't forget that I still have the army, I have the police, I have ECOMIC, and I have what. And people were saying, oh no, now he's threatening.
No, people. That was even before 2021 election. He told them.
Why did he have to say that?
No, he said, let them not forget.
Yeah.
The powers that was here yesterday is the same powers are here today. The army, the police, this and that, that's what I have.
Now he even said that.
And I will protect the territorial integrity of this country. And I want people to observe maximum due respect and rule of law. And he said, lest we forget, I am the elected president of this country and I will be the only one to be accounted by Gambians election time. I will take my responsibility of protecting, because he made that statement, of protecting the minorities, of protecting every tribe and every region and every religion in this country. He made those assertions. He has never and ever acted in a manner seemingly to be anti-democracy or anti-rule of law or good governance. Uncle Peter, the president, he can best be described as one of the most democratic presidents in the whole world. Nobody can dispute that. We can proudly say that. And he can best be described as the mother and the father of modern infrastructural development of this country. We are always proud when we see people come out from diaspora and visit Gambia to see what people are saying and what is happening is like day and night. We are happy. And we are happy that majority of the Gambian people appreciate the current trajectory of government. in terms of everything. And we are happy that we've never slipped off from a social contract we had with the Gambian people. We are a party that has programs and policies, and we are implementing them according to plan. And the president never wants anyone to deflect or deviate along those paths.
All right. We'll go into greater detail after another break. You're watching Coffee Time, listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on Monday, the 4th of August 2025, and Seedy Njie is our guest this morning. We're going to take a commercial break and applaud the support of TAF Africa Global, Njie Oil, EcoBank Global, AutoCare, JFIN Wave, Trust Bank, and Global Properties. Back after this.
Remember to keep your account secure. Never share your PIN or any codes sent to you by Wave. Choose strong PINs and avoid easy combinations like 12340000 or your birth year. Bul fàtte it ngir moytandiku bul joxe sa PIN mbite code bu la Wave di yónnee. Saa yoo tànn PIN war nga mun a tànn PIN bu dëgër te nga moytandiku PIN yu yomba comme 12340000 mbaa sa at bi nga juddu. Kila account o tankandi, Wave ye code aning PIN number minul kiye, kana di mo koten la. Ning wati o wati ilafta kila PIN number tombong, mimba tara la tankaring, kana number ta min longo be sone yala. Misali, 1234 warang 0000 warang ila wulu sango. Nila telefono fileta warang ya sunya ise 1222 komandi, wolo dulato tariya nyami fanyin kamala isela account o tankandino.
For 18 years, Global Properties has been shaping the Gambia skyline, transforming dreams into homes and investments into wealth. With iconic developments like Lakeview in Kotu, the Horizon in Bijilo, the View in Fajara, and the Diplomat in Canifing, Global has redefined luxury and trust in real estate. Their properties rise like landmarks along the Bertel Harding Highway, bold statements of beauty, value, and vision. But what truly sets Global apart? It's protection of your investment, ensuring your property value grows from the moment you buy. With flexible payment plans tailored to your budget and land developments like Greenville in Gunjur Sifo, Global has made land ownership possible for every Gambian, from first-time buyers to savvy investors. And with returns that outperform any bank interest, land and property with Global Properties isn't just a purchase, it's your surest path to long-term wealth. Visit globalpropertiesafrica.com or call 439-1944 today and discuss your investment options. Global Properties, the only name that matters in real estate.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Njie Oil. The company has fits across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Njie Oil introduced importation and distribution of cement in their line of business. Njie Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. Njie Oil also target to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Are you a cement retailer? Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
Sending money fast? With Western Union's global network, your money moves across 200 plus countries quickly and securely. And at JFIN, we ensure a smooth customer experience with fast and reliable service. Because you matter. Visit any of our branches today or call customer care on 332-2224. JFIN, in partnership with Western Union.
There's plenty of car mechanics in the Gambia, but if you're looking for an honest, reliable, and trustworthy auto mechanic shop, look no further than Global Auto Care. In collaboration with Central Technique Automobile in Senegal, Global Auto Care's team of well-trained, experienced, and specialized professionals will make sure that your vehicle, no matter the make, model, or year, will always get the best care. From scheduled maintenances, engine repairs and diagnostics, to vehicle evaluations, bodywork, and paint jobs, Global Auto Care is your one-stop facility for all your auto servicing needs. Call us today on 521-7848 and have your car restored to the way it was meant to be. Global Auto Care, your car in the best care.
Trust Bank is proud of its robust corporate social responsibility (CSR) initiatives, which have earned the bank a reputation as a leader in community engagement. The bank supports various social and environmental causes, focusing on education, health, sports, and disaster relief, amongst others. Trust Bank's commitment to giving back to the community has fostered goodwill and strengthened its relationship with customers in particular and all Gambians in general. In the year 2023, the bank spent over $4.7 million in various philanthropic activities. Notably, Trust Bank consistently surpasses the participation of all other banks in the industry in terms of CSR activities, demonstrating its unwavering commitment to making a positive impact in the communities in which it operates.
Get a plot of land in Sifo, right next to the city, where natural beauty meets with modern convenience. Imagine owning a plot of land in a community that brings you closer to nature, yet offers all the essential amenities. Located in the serene site of Sifo, close to the Alahen River, each plot gives you access to essential utilities, such as water and electricity, ready for you to build your future home. Empty plots starting from $350,000 with a flexible payment plan starting with a down payment of $35,000 only, tailored to fit your budget with monthly payments from $6,000 over 5 years or from $8,750 over 3 years. Faraba is sold out. Don't miss out on this one. Call us on our telephone numbers on +220-7762-333 or +220-3762-333. Send us an email on info@tafafricaglobal.com. TAF Africa Global, unlocking a plot of land for everyone.
The back-to-school season is here and EcoBank is here to support you every step of the way. This back-to-school season, when you receive your transfers via Rapid Transfer, REA, direct to your account or in-branch, Western Union or MoneyGram at any EcoBank branch or Rapid Transfer at any Express Point, we'll reward you with free branded exercise books for your kids. Yes! All you need to do is receive your Rapid Transfer, REA, MoneyGram or Western Union transfer at any EcoBank branch directly into your EcoBank account or Rapid Transfer at any of our Express Points and receive EcoBank branded exercise books. There is absolutely no need to queue. Visit any of our Express Points and enjoy fast, seamless service and get rewarded at the same time. It's our way of saying thank you and helping you get ready for the new school year. Receive your remittance the convenient way and get rewarded this back-to-school season. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.